It's time for change in Portugal, or maybe not so much. Today, we're delving into the most pressing issue, the recent election results in Portugal. This is not just about politics, it's about what these results could mean for you, whether you're already living here or considering a move. Portugal has become one of the favorite destinations for Americans, Canadians, Australians, and people from all over the world who are seeking a high quality of life, safety, and, of course, an amazing European climate. But will the election results make life easier or more complicated for those who want to pack their bags and move here? Stick around until the end of this video, because today I'll tell you everything that's changed, what the new leaders' plans are, and what we can expect in the coming years. Before we dive into the results, it's important to understand what led Portugal to call these elections. Unlike usual, Portugal called early elections due to a political instability scenario marked by a series of critical events. Some of the main factors include losing support in parliament, internal government crises, scandals that shook public trust, and finally, the dissolution of parliament by the President of the Republic. The dissolution came after the then Prime Minister, Luis Montenegro, lost a vote of confidence in parliament. The origin of this crisis was accusations that Montenegro and his family were profiting from a company they owned, and that their dealings with clients benefited from his political position. This situation led the President of the Republic to dissolve parliament, paving the way for new elections. The idea was to return the power to the voters to decide the country's future and try to restore political stability. However, of course, this instability affected many important issues for those thinking of moving to Portugal, from immigration policies to programs aimed at foreigners who want to invest here. While the new government has not yet taken office, no new immigration policies can be approved, although visa issuance continues normally. Portugal operates under a semi-presidential system, consisting of a president and a prime minister. The election on the 18th was to elect the deputies of the Assembly of the Republic, meaning the public votes for a party, not individual candidates. The party that gets the most votes can gain control of parliament, but only if they secure a minimum number of seats in parliament. Now that you understand the context, let's get to the good part. Who won these elections, and what could this mean for those planning to move here? But before, let me quickly tell you that we send out weekly emails with updates about Portugal. If you'd like to receive these, subscribe to our newsletter. You can also join our free Facebook group to stay informed and connect with others who are living in or planning to move to Portugal. You'll find both links in the description. And now, let's get to the highly anticipated result. The elections in Portugal have defined a new political landscape, and the winner is the Democratic Alliance Party, marking the return of Luis Montenegro. The victory of the Democratic Alliance, in theory, doesn't represent many changes in priorities since the party was already in power. During the campaign, the party promised to continue the path started last year, reducing taxes for the middle class and businesses, controlling immigration, and tackling the housing crisis. The party also advocated for an agenda focused on economic growth, reducing bureaucracy, and modernizing immigration processes, issues that caught the attention of those planning to live here. Additionally, the Democratic Alliance confirmed its intention to revise immigration policies, with a focus on attracting more foreign investors, facilitating the entry of digital nomads, and creating a more welcoming environment for skilled professionals. For those keeping an eye on Portugal as a destination, these changes could represent new opportunities for obtaining residency and settling here. The most concerning news for immigrants comes now. Chega tied with the Socialist Party, securing its best result yet, and showing that it's growing with each election. Both parties won 58 seats in parliament. The Democratic Alliance secured 86 deputies. This suggests there could be more tough years ahead, requiring significant negotiations between parties to approve government initiatives. The truth is, the result confirmed everything the polls had already indicated. It was expected that the Democratic Alliance would come out victorious. The close race between Chega and the Socialist Party was also anticipated, but the excitement lasted until the very last second. Now, let's zero in on what really matters for those eyeing a life in Portugal. How will the Democratic Alliance's win shape the lives of immigrants? Without a doubt, and as expected, immigration was one of the main topics during the political campaigns for the election. Today, official numbers show that over 1.5 million foreigners live in the country, which represents 14% of the total population. Now that we know Montenegro's government will continue, it's expected that some of the actions that have been taken will also stay on the same course. On one hand, the government has been focused on reinforcing certain rules for legal immigration. But on the other hand, it sought to distance itself from far-right ideas to avoid pushing immigrants away, given that the population is aging and there's a labor shortage. The new, or not so new, government of the Democratic Alliance has already stated during the campaign that it intends to simplify immigration processes, as it had been trying to do, although still without much success. The good news is that Luis Montenegro stated throughout the campaign that there will be no agreements with Chega, the far-right party that advocates for strict immigration policies. In addition, the party plans to modernize the IMA, reducing bureaucracy for visa renewals, and speeding up residence regularization processes. Currently, the wait for residence authorization can take over 12 months. And for those thinking about investing here, the Democratic Alliance promised to review the Golden Visa program, offering more benefits for investors interested in the real estate market and Portuguese startups. But here's a surprising twist. The elections also revealed a significant disengagement, with over 35% of voters abstaining. This is a clear signal that not everyone is fully committed to the country's future. Now that the Democratic Alliance has taken leadership in Portugal again, what can we expect in the coming years? Well, if the campaign promises are actually implemented, the scenario for those wanting to live here could become even more attractive. However, we shouldn't forget that last year there wasn't much progress in improving working conditions or addressing the housing crisis, which are currently the country's main issues. The party has made it clear that it wants to transform Portugal into a hub of innovation and investment. This means more incentives for startups, a more vibrant job market, especially for tech professionals, and faster, more streamlined immigration processes. Although that's not what we're seeing today. Many of us wait over a year for a document, which can be very frustrating. What's concerning is the rise of parties advocating for restrictions on immigrants. For those planning to move to Portugal, this is definitely something to keep an eye on. With the victory, it's expected that the Democratic Alliance will seize the opportunity of the renewed confidence from the public and implement some of the projects that, in almost a year of government, have not yet materialized. Among them is improving the public health service, as well as the agency responsible for immigration. And speaking of immigration, need help with moving to Portugal, finding a home, or handling visas and taxes? We're here to make your transition easier. Our team of experts, including remote workers, digital nomads, accountants, and lawyers, can guide you every step of the way. Schedule a consultation today, whether by email or video call. Find the link in the description below. So, what do you think about the future perspectives for Portugal after this election? Do you think the Democratic Alliance government will actually bring the promised changes? And what does that mean for you if you're dreaming of living here? If you're thinking about moving to Portugal or have doubts about how the new policies might affect your life here, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your opinion, and if there's anything you'd like to understand better about the immigration process or changes in the job market. Don't forget to like the video if you found the information helpful and share it with that friend who's also thinking about living in Portugal. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos with all the latest updates on what you need to know to plan your move. Ciao!